so strongly with destiny through the depths of your essence, but it's in your head. And it's like people outside of your head try and tell you how you gotta be, and deter you from showing up authentically. Get yourself starting to believe the shit, like blah blah blah.
Hey y'all, welcome to Naya's Notes. I am your host, Naya Jalisa. Today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading on how or what makes you stand out from the crowd, what makes you stand out from other people, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the images to choose from for piles 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Okay, don't forget to check out my website. There's free writings and helpful things over there. I also do have like an ebook. Well, it's more like an e-workbook type of thing. You know, look at your own pleasure, your own, what is it? Your own, what did they say? Check it out at your own, forget I said that. Check out the website when you're ready, okay? It's in the bio. Serious. How does pile 1 stand out? We have the 9 of Swords reverse. I hear you guys don't have social anxiety. Social anxiety fears you. The social has anxiety about you, okay? You could definitely come across extroverted, okay? You could definitely be the type to, you know, shameless self-promo. Because typically I don't even like mention my website. I just felt called to do that. I'm going to start doing it. But like, I don't know, something was just like, tell them about your website. So you guys could be business owners as well. And you could like, you know, shamelessly plug yourself, tell people about what you have going on. Okay, people could say that you have a big mouth or that you're loud, you're extroverted. You just seem to be somebody who has a lot of energy, okay? And again, it's like you don't really fear much. Like, I feel like your fears are like, you know, big stuff like, oh, I don't know, falling off a roller coaster or something. But like, you don't necessarily have fear in regards to like day-to-day interactions with people. I feel like you don't really overthink your interactions with people. Like, you know how some people, they'll just be really shy, they have social anxiety, or they might have a conversation with somebody and then after they have the... I just heard a random noise. Anyways, they might have a conversation with somebody and then after they walk away from the conversation, they like will overthink what they said. Like, you're not like that. So that's definitely one of the ways in which you stand out. You just come across very confident, easy to talk to. Okay, we have the 4 of Cups. I feel like you're also... It's interesting. It's like you are not shy, but I feel like you also kind of come across a little bit like a loner. You could be like a popular loner, whereas like you're not really shy, but like I feel like you could be selective about like who you speak to. And maybe sometimes people think that you're shy, but it's really like you just don't want to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people could even like be shocked at how much you do talk when you're around people that you actually want to talk to, because I feel like some people see like a very extroverted side of you, whereas some people see more of like an introverted side. Okay, because with the 4 of Cups, it's like you're not wanting whatever is being offered. And I feel like in this case, that's like conversation, you know. You could also be somebody who doesn't like small talk. So maybe you like to talk about like things that you actually care about. And if you're talking about something that you care about, then you can be very passionate and like come across extroverted. But if it's just like small talk, how's the weather today bullshit, like, or if it's like something that you're just not interested in, you could be very like not wanting to participate, okay? I feel like you also come across different, or you stand out from the crowd because you could not like to participate in things that are typical. Like you could, let's say, it really just depends on like your environment and like the kind of people that you're around. So for some of you, if you're around people who like to club and party, you could be the person who doesn't want to do that. Like you like to be at home reading books and shit. Like you are very much on the chill side. So that could make you stand out because all those people are party people and you're the person, you're like a homebody. Or it could be the opposite where like everybody around you is homebodies and you're the person who likes to go out and party. This could be a thing where if you're in school, like a bunch of the people around you could have the same major and you have like a very different niche type of major. Like maybe you're around a bunch of like STEM and business majors, but you're like an arts major. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be something like that. It could also be, again, the opposite where you're around a bunch of artists, but you're like the techie, nerdy person. You know what I'm saying? There's just something here about you like not wanting to participate in something that is also around you. This could also be religious, I'm hearing, for some of you. Clearly, if you're watching a tarot reading, then you are open to spirituality, but you could also come from like a religious background or like be surrounded by a bunch of religious people, but you're like the only one who watches tarot readings or is into spirituality and astrology and things like that. Okay, so let's get some more. We have the 7 of Swords in reverse. You also stand out because you're very honest, even when you don't need to be. There are situations like you're the type of person like you like let's say somebody's walking, this is the example that's coming to my head, I don't know if this has actually happened to you, but it's like if somebody's walking in front of you, they could drop their phone, their wallet, their purse, some cash, and they didn't notice. And so like most people would just like take the shit, really, like they would just pick it up and take it, but you're the kind of person who would give it back to them. And that's something that makes you stand out, because people feel like you have the opportunity to be a trickster, or you have the opportunity to manipulate or lie, but you don't. You could also be somebody who's very, I'm also getting this too, you could be somebody who's very attractive, and so like physically attractive, and so you could receive like pretty privilege. And I feel like you stand out in the sense that there's other people who have the same looks or who benefit from that same pretty privilege, who have used that to benefit them in certain ways. Like maybe they manipulate people to get things out of them, and they know they can get away with it because the person is attracted to them, whereas you don't do that. Like even though you could get away with being manipulative, you still tell the truth. This could also be a thing where, like, you know, like have you ever been around people who is like, they'll have a partner who is like obsessed with them. They don't even have to like be like super physically attractive, but somebody could have a partner that's like basically obsessed with them, and they'll lie to that person, manipulate them, and do all that kind of stuff. You are the kind of person who like you could do that. Like you have people who are probably obsessed with you or really like you, that if you wanted to, like you could like pretend that you could like string them along or lead them on, basically to feel like you're going to have feelings for them, to get things out of them, but you don't. Okay? And I feel like this is not just in regards to relationships. I feel like this is just in your life. You could have a very strong moral compass. You could be somebody who like maybe you are a bit different, or you're eccentric or alternative in certain ways, but I think when it comes to like honesty and just like basic like right versus wrong, you're very much somebody who believes in doing the right thing. And definitely in today's society, that makes you stand out, because most people are not like that. Okay? Most people, if they have the opportunity to lie, steal, manipulate, they will. Okay? You're not that kind of person. You could also be kind of conflict avoidant, which makes you stand out, because again, it's like you'd be around people who like are very quick to get angry, or very quick to argue, very quick to want to fight, or, you know, handle issues. And you're the kind of person who just like walks away because you don't really think things are that serious or that deep or worth going to that extent for. Yeah. I'm also hearing this, that you guys could work out, and maybe the people around you don't go to the gym. Like maybe you're like the only one around who goes to the gym, so that could be something that makes you stand out as well. This is a general reading, you know, so take it how it resonates. Let me see. Let's get some more tea. Ooh. Then we have death. It came out in reverse at first, but then it flopped down officially upright. I feel like you guys are very you could come across different, because now this one I'm getting multiple things. So, you know, this is general, take it how it resonates. Some of you could be very into like dark taboo things, like with the Scorpio energy. So you could be like into emo things, or you could just have like a dark grunge like aesthetic. You could like rock music, or just things that are deemed like dark taboo type of things. You could be into those things, or you could be somebody who is like into death. And when I say into death, okay, let me not say into death. It's not, I don't necessarily feel like you're like into death, but you could be somebody who has a different response to it than the average person. So this makes me think about how like Shira 7 says that she was a mortician, right? So you could be somebody who is not afraid of the dead. Like you're not afraid to, you could be a medium. You could be like a psychic medium, and maybe you like work with spirits, or you're not afraid of cemeteries. You're not afraid of death. You could be somebody who your grieving process is not the same as like most people. Like most people are clearly like, you know, very upset and sad when they lose somebody, whereas you could be the kind of person who like, you have a like more conscious understanding of life and death, and so you don't have the same emotional response. Okay, I'm here. If that part is true for you, I feel like you sometimes have wondered like if there's something wrong with you, or like if you're kind of like a psychopath because you don't feel those same emotions. But I think you just see it from a higher perspective that kind of overrides that like emotional human response. Take it how it resonates. There's more I'm getting. This is kind of getting a little dark. You guys could have had a history, and this is trigger warning. You guys could have had a history with SH, or like depression, wanting to self-delete. I feel like you're somebody who, one of the ways in which you stand out is that you might appear like very surface level, like fun, bubbly, extroverted, but I feel like there is definitely like a deeper, darker side to you that most people don't know about unless you were to tell them. I feel like you don't really wear that on your sleeve now. I feel like there was a phase in your life where it was more prominent, like it was more like it clearly like showing up on you. I feel like now it's more so like something that's kind of just within you. Like people that are close to you might know about it, but you don't really like broadcast it, and it's not like an obvious part of your personality anymore. But I do see that. And I want to get one more tarot card. I be trying not to make my videos too long, but sometimes I just can't help it. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the Five of Cups reversed. So yeah, again, it's like you have this very much energy of like, nothing is that serious to you. I don't know, you could have also had a death. I mean, you could have had, I feel like my dress is coming undone, because it is, okay. You could have had a near death experience, actually. You could have, like, I don't know if you could have gotten into an accident, you could have gotten injured really bad, you could have dealt with like sickness. I feel like there's something here that you experienced in life. It could have even been losing somebody close to you. Like, there's something here about you experiencing things that made you not take life so seriously. It made you have like a higher perspective of life, to where it's like you just don't have the same like typical human emotional responses that other people have. You don't fear the same things other people fear. You are not emotionally like dysregulated how other people are. You've been there before, but you're not that way anymore. You do not cry over spilled milk. You don't really take disappointment personally. You choose to do the right thing when you don't have to. Like, you very much come across as somebody like you have kind of like a sage type of energy to you. Like, you have like a very like old wise type of vibe, even though like you're probably not super old. And you could still have like a very fun side to you. I could see that you're very expressive, like creatively expressive as well. It's just like you seem like a very multifaceted person, and I think that that's what makes you stand out, because I feel like the people that you're around can be very like cookie cutter in a box, or like they all have like the same personality, or they all do the kind of the same things. And so that's what makes you stand out, is that you're all these different things. So that's what I have for you. Don't forget to check out the website. I do have blog posts, like motivational, inspirational, creative type of stuff on there. You can also book a reading on there if you would like to. I will never reach out to you to book a reading. And that's all I have for you, Pile 1. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. My name is Naya. This is Naya's Notes. Welcome on in. Come on in. Before we get started, I just want to say you can check out my website for free blog posts and art and things like that. You can book readings on there. I have a 10-step guide to self-awareness, which is like a electronic workbook for you to work through. It's like a journal prompt type of thing, introspective, asking yourself questions, that kind of thing. I'm also gonna put some art on there soon. Give me a minute, okay? But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Spirit, what makes Pile 2 stand out from the crowd? First out, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So you could be somebody who's very nurturing and kind when people don't expect you to be. So I'm getting that you could be somebody who's very physically attractive, and you could also look kind of bougie. Like, I don't know, maybe like the way you do your hair, your nails, your style. You just come across as somebody who like has money. And I think that because of that, people assume that you're going to be like stuck up or bougie. You could probably hear that. It's something I just said that I just like seeing somebody like rolling their eyes like, ugh, don't they always say that? And yeah, I think that you're the kind of person when people meet you and they like assume that you're going to be bitchy or stuck up or snotty or whatever. And then they actually get to know you and they realize, wow, like this person is actually really kind. And not only do they just think that you're kind, they also see you as like mature and wise. Like, you're somebody who I just feel like you don't really partake in like immature things. So I'm seeing an example of like, if there's a group of people and like you're there, people could think, again, people might assume that you're like snotty or bougie or rude, right? So they might feel comfortable like making jokes about somebody else, like talking down on somebody and thinking that you're assuming that you're going to join in, but you actually are like, you know, that's not nice to like talk about people. And it like shocks them because they're like, am I being a bully right now? It kind of makes people like question themselves. They're like, damn, am I being a bully right now? But then it also makes them think of you as somebody who's like, again, like kind and mature. So that's one of the ways in which you definitely stand out. I also feel like you do stand out when it comes to your looks and the way that you take care of yourself, because maybe you're around people who, you know, think that looks don't matter and they just don't really put any effort into their looks. I'm definitely, with the Queen of Pentacles, I'm specifically getting like Taurus energy. You know, of course, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, all of them, but something about like that Taurus, like that Venusian energy is coming through strongly for me. And I feel like some of you guys are standing out based on your looks. Like, again, it's like you might be in a space where like people don't necessarily put too much value onto like putting effort into their looks, but you do. Like, this could be one of those things where like you're the only person at your job or at your school who like puts like your hair and makeup on just to go to class or just to go to work, whereas like the other people around you don't do that. So that could be one of the ways in which you stand out. Ooh, we have the Fool, and this card leaped, honey. This card jumped at just how she finna jump off this cliff. You guys stand out because you're not afraid to try new things. You're not afraid to try new things. I feel like you come across very like, it's so interesting. You come across mature and like grown, but you also come across very like childish and whimsical, and not in like a immature way, but in a whimsical way. Like you're the kind of person, you could be an adult, and I relate to this so hard, but you could be an adult that is very much still into like childish things. So instead of watching like fucking true crime and Grey's Anatomy, you could be the kind of person who likes to watch anime or children's movies. When it comes to the books that you read, you could read children's books still, even though like you're grown, and you can clearly read something, you know, like a non-fiction documentary style book if you wanted to, but you like to read childish things. Or you might still be into like children's characters. Like you could, for example, I'm just naming like girly things off the top of my head that I know about, but like you could be somebody who's like an adult, but you still like Hello Kitty or Bratz or Barbie, stuff like that. You come across very like cutesy and like whimsical, even though like you still have your mature side. And also feel like with the Fool here is like you are not afraid to take risks and try new things. You could come across very free-spirited. It's like you're grounded, but your groundedness allows you to be free at the same time. You're somebody who like you could have potentially like gone back to school at like an older age. Not like saying like you're old, like you went in like an old age, but I mean like obviously most people go to college at 18. So you could have not gone to college at 18, or maybe you did and then you dropped out and you went back as an adult, and like people think that's like, you know, whimsical or childish, that you like were just, you don't care that you're however old you are, you still went back to school. Or it could be a thing where like you could be the person who likes to travel and you would just like randomly like, and also it's not even just the fact of like traveling, it's like a whimsical style of travel. Like you could like to solo travel, you could be the kind of person to just like spontaneously just like wake up and like book a trip to somewhere with only one way, no flight back yet, because you don't know what you want to do when you get there. Like, you know, I'm also hearing like pack light from Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. You're somebody who packs light. Like you definitely are the kind of person, you just give me like a nomadic, whimsical type of energy. You could be somebody who moves a lot, or like you switch jobs or careers a lot, or maybe you're not really tied to a specific job. Maybe you take care of yourself in like a entrepreneurial, like a side hustle type of way, like gig type of way, where it's like your money is not necessarily like stable or consistent, but like things always work out. You always have some type of gig or some type of like money coming to you in that way. Okay, let's see what else makes you stand out. You could also be heavily into fashion, because I'm really drawn to like her dress and her bag, even though I've had this deck for like 5 years and this is nothing new to me. Like, I don't know, something about the dress is really standing out. So you guys could definitely be very much into like fashion and beauty and arts. And that can make you stand out, because you could be surrounded by people who are just, you know, into their like, you could be surrounded by the kind of people who just go to work and go home, you know, and they don't really have any like hobbies or passions that they like to explore and express, but you do. Okay, let's see, how does pile 2 stand out from the crowd? Ooh, we have the 10 of Cups. You stand out from the crowd because you're somebody who actually seems happy with your life, like genuinely. And that actually is kind of sad for like, I hate that like the majority of like us humans, like that is like the common consensus, but like a lot of people are really not happy with the lives that they're living. They're not happy with the decisions that they made, the shit they chose to do, the paths that they pursued. But I feel like you're somebody who's happy with yourself. You're happy with the choices that you made in your life. You're happy. And it's also because it's like, again, you're not afraid to take risks. You're not afraid to start something new. And I think that that is like, goes hand in hand with how happy you are, because it's like, other people might look at you sometimes and think like, what the hell are they doing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's childish. That's whimsical. That's unrealistic. But you don't care. Like, you purposely do things that will make you happy. And therefore, what do you know? 1 + 1 is 2. You're happy, you know? And that definitely makes you stand out. I feel like you get like mixed responses for this. I feel like some people find you to be really inspiring and they really appreciate how you make decisions and like put your happiness first. But then other people who feel like, you know, I think, you know, colonization and patriarchy and religion has kind of made a lot of people believe that it's selfish to want to be happy, and it's selfish to like live your life according to what you want. And so people who feel like that, they think you're like selfish, and they think you're just like selfish, self-absorbed because you like do things on your own terms. Some of you guys I'm seeing like, and this could be like different things for a lot of you. Like I said, like some of y'all could like to travel, and so it's like you might have a family that wants you to like settle down in your hometown and be close to them and talk to them all the time and like come see them all the time, but you're like in Bali or something, like so like they're offended that you know, you're all over the place. Or it could be a thing where like maybe you don't want to have kids, and like people sometimes get offended because the people that you date might want to have kids with you and you're like, I don't want kids. Or, you know, your family is pressuring you to start a family and you're like, I don't want kids, like, you know. and you're happy with that decision, but like other people sometimes get offended by it. But then again, other people are inspired by this as well. So it's definitely like both. It's not just like, you know, all negative vibes. It's just it's both. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. You guys could have been drawn to a different pile as well. I was kind of low-key getting that, but with the Seven of Swords reverse, I feel like you also stand out because like I just feel like you don't really, another way that sorry, but another way that you stand out with the Seven of Swords in reverse is that you just come across very honest and like you don't really have anything to lie about. I think that's part of your like maturity as well that makes you stand out, because most people, you know, they're gonna lie, cheat, steal, thief, connive, whatever it is that they can do, and you're just not that kind of person. I feel like, especially with the way that you live, like I said, you come across as somebody who like has money, or like you're able to do things that maybe the average person doesn't get to do, like travel or like go back to school or live like a entrepreneur gig based type of lifestyle. Some people think that you're like scamming for that. They think you're scamming, or they think you're like manipulating people into like paying your bills and doing things like that to get by. But in reality, I feel like you are doing everything the righteous way, because I feel like that's something that is important to you, and that's what makes you stand out. Because I think a lot of people, especially with your looks, I think a lot of people just assume, I think also a lot of people assume that you're being taken care of by somebody, and you could be, but I really feel like a lot of the stuff that you have is like self-funded and self-created. You do come across like independent. You come across like somebody who can do well in like relationships or in a family, but I also feel like you have a very strong sense of self as well. And yeah, like you just don't have to do that. I think you have a strong moral compass, and also people, you being such a free spirit, people could also assume that like you don't really care about things like that, like you don't care about what's right or wrong, but you actually do. And that's something that makes you stand out. I also feel like you could be the type of person to call out other people on their bullshit. Like I said earlier, in terms of like, you know, you're telling people that it's not cool to gossip or bully. You could even like stand up for people in like deeper situations, like trigger warning, but you could stand up for people that have been SA'd or like experienced DV. Like it is one of those type of things. Like I'm specifically getting like you stand out because there could be like, I don't know if this is in your family or this is like just in your space or circle. I'm getting the vibe that like if there's somebody around who's like who harms people basically, and like other people are like kind of sweeping it under the rug, you're the person to like call it out. You're the person to like not kiki with that person, not like fake kiki with that person, and you do uphold this like moral compass, okay? And that's something that makes you stand out. And let's get one more card. Ooh, that one flew out, child. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. It's interesting. I just said all that, but the next thing that makes you stand out is that you come across nonchalant. It's like you come across like people, I feel like you're like an enigma in general, honestly. Like people don't really know how to receive you. I feel like you come across as nurturing and kind, but you're also coming across as like aloof and detached. With the Queen of Cups in reverse, it kind of gives me like somebody who maybe could be nurturing but chooses not to be, or they could just be somebody who like doesn't know how to regulate their emotions. But in this case, it more so just feels like you're the kind of person who keeps your emotionalness like very much to yourself and to those who are close to you. Like, so you're kind to everybody, but I feel like everybody doesn't really know you. Like there's like a depth to you, and I think that I think you like keep it inside, and I think that that is part of what gives you the space to be nurturing towards others. But it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like you don't just give that out. Like, and I feel like you also are the kind of person who, like I said, you have this like moral compass that you kind of follow, and so it's like, I think you are very picky about who gets your emotional energy, who gets your love, who gets your actual genuine care. Like there's a difference between you just being kind to somebody and just having like a basic level of kindness towards them because they're a human being, and then like you actually like making emotional space in your life for people. I feel like you don't really make much emotional space. Like you could be the kind of person who doesn't really talk to people every day. You don't talk to even your like your best friends or in your family, like you probably don't talk to them every day. You could come across, you could be very like alone, like a loner, like you could be like to spend a lot of time by yourself. And I just feel like that's because like you actually are very emotional and you are very like energetically sensitive, and it's like in order for you to regulate that, it's like you choose to be by yourself a lot. I'm also getting that with the Fool too. Like you spend a lot of time alone. Like people definitely see you as detached, and people like crave more of your energy. But then it's kind of weird because it's like once they do get around your energy, it's like some of them feel inspired and it's like, okay, that makes sense why they want to be around this person. But some of the people who crave your energy, they only crave it to fucking like try to diminish it. It's weird. It's like they want to be around you because you are such like a positive, free-spirited person, but then it's like once you're around them, they just kind of try to talk you out of being free-spirited. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It doesn't make any sense, you know? It's one of those things. I feel like you also could have experienced a lot of people trying to humble you in your life. And so it's just like you just have learned that you can't show your softness and your sensitivity to everybody because they will like take advantage of it. And so I think you show up mostly in your like Queen of Pentacles energy, but that depth is still there for sure. And I think that's all I have for you, pal, too. Thank you so much for watching. Again, feel free to check out my website if you want, you know, some free writings, blogs, posts, all that, art, yeah. Other than that, just remember, I will never reach out to you for a reading. You can only book with me through my website, which is in the link in my bio. Other than that, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, Power 3, welcome in. I am your host, Naya, and this is Naya's Notes. Welcome on in. Get comfortable. You guys can check out my website down below if you would like to check out my free blog posts that I write about, like, you know, creative inspiration, blogs, and life, and all that kind of stuff. There's also art on there, and that is also where you can book a reading with me. You cannot book with me anywhere else, so I never reach out to you. And yeah, okay, let's get into it. How do you stand out? What makes you stand out from the crowd? Okay, Spirit, what makes Power 3 stand out from the crowd? First, we have the Ace of Cups. I feel like the first thing I got was that you're very sweet. Okay, and we start there. You're very sweet and kind and loving. You could definitely be like a water sign. Like, it's giving Cancer. It's giving Cancer. You guys don't have to be a Cancer though, but like it's just kind of giving that. Like what people think is like the stereotypical like Cancer energy, you guys could definitely have that, and that makes you stand out because, you know, a lot of people these days are very like stoic and logical and hard, and, you know, and you're very like sweet and kind and caring. Like you could be the kind of person that like you probably went through a phase in your life where you were easily manipulated, or you could have been called naive because like you're just so like innocent and sweet, and like, you know, you always see the best in people, and, you know, you could have learned to stop doing that, but that could just be like your nature. Okay, but I'm also getting with this Ace of Cups, you could be the kind of person who is always in a new relationship. Like you always have a new partner. You're the kind of person who you don't really stay single for long. And it's not even that you're just like hypersexual or anything, but it's just that like you really do have this like sweet, loving energy that draws people towards you. And so I just feel like whenever you get out of a relationship, it's usually not long before you get into another one. Okay, so that can make you stand out as well, because you can be around people who, you know, tend to be either single for a long time or like in a long-term relationship for a long time. But I feel like you have had like multiple, you know, partners in your life. Okay, so how else does Power 3 stand out from the crowd? We have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. You could be somebody who is kind of like lazy, or you don't really like to work that hard. Okay, and that can make you stand out, especially if you come from a family of like really hardworking people, or that's just like the culture that you're around. It's like grind culture, hustle culture, productivity. Like you're somebody who doesn't really do all of that. But it's interesting because like with this water energy here, like you could be the kind of person who doesn't have to, like, just based on the energy that you have and like maybe the life that you were, you know, brought here to live. Like I feel like you're somebody who can kind of get through life on easy mode, especially when it comes to like finances. Like you might be the kind of person who maybe you don't always have a job, but you always have your bills paid. It could be like you have other people wanting to pay your bills and wanting to give you money and buy things for you. Or it could be a thing where, you know, you have certain like creative skills that are able to provide for you, so you don't have to work a regular job. Or even if you do work a regular job, it's probably like your side thing, or you don't work that many hours. You spend most of your time doing something creative or just like existing. Honestly, like you seem like the kind of person who gets paid to exist. So you could be like an influencer, you could have like, again, like you could have a business. It just feels like you get paid to do things that already come really naturally to you. You don't really like to work hard or do things that feel hard. Okay, and that's something that makes you stand out because most people are not living like that. So what else makes Power 3 stand out? We have the Hierophant. So this is Taurus energy. You know, typically the Hierophant represents like religion and like traditional things, but I'm not gonna hold you. In this case, I feel like you guys are very like magical and witchy, and I feel like that also has a lot to do with why you don't have to work so hard, because it's like you know how to manipulate energy. This card is really giving me more of like a magician energy, but it's giving me like in a wise way. You could be like a priestess of some sort, or like a shaman. You could like teach other people about religion or spirituality. there's like this authority about you. Like you have some type of authority in something where it's like you have mastered something well enough to teach it to others. You could be a teacher. That could be like part of the way that you make money is like by teaching classes or like teaching people how to do something. Okay. And with this Taurus energy here, like this Venus energy, like I'm definitely getting like a heavy like creative vibe. So this could be a thing. This is also giving me like royalty. Do I have like a princess of a country watching it? Like this kind of gives, okay, this is giving me multiple things. So take it how it resonates. This is a general reading, but you could be somebody who either comes from like some type of like familial generational wealth where it's like your parents and your grandparents are either like highly important people. And so therefore you are a highly important person by being kin to them. Or it could be a thing. And so you get special treatment because of like a social positioning of your family. It could also be a thing where it's like financial, where it's like maybe they just like are regular people, but they have amassed wealth. And so like that's why you don't have to work really hard because you come from generational wealth and you have maybe like a trust fund or your parents give you money or you're able to just like exist off of that. This could also be a thing where you have, I don't know if you guys, again, take hours and days. You guys could be into SW and you could be like a dominatrix or like have pay pigs. Like you have, like there's like an authority to you. Like there's something about your energy that like, it's one of those things where like you were literally meant to be given to and like provided for. Whether it's like I said, some of y'all could have like pay pigs or you could be into SW and have like, you know, fans, clients. It could be like you could be an influencer and you have like fans and like an audience and maybe you make merch and they buy your merch and they obviously like watch your stuff and give you views and then so you get paid off of like merch sales and views and things like that. Or again, you could come from like either like a family that's like high class, like socially or financially. Very interesting. And that's obviously something that makes you stand out because most people are not doing that. Most people are not living that type of life. Interesting. Moving on. How does this pile 3 stand out? We have the sun. Okay. You guys are definitely creative. I feel like all of my audience is like creative. I feel like I just attract creatives because I'm a creative and like that's just like the vibe that I'm on. But I feel like this group is like specifically like I feel like you make money off of your creativity in some way or like you like broadcast it. So if you're an artist, I feel like you definitely have like either at least an art page. Even if you don't have a business off of it, you at least have a page where you show your work. But I'm feeling like you have a business. I feel like I'm seeing somebody even like have their work in like an art gallery or like a museum. Okay. Because again, there's something here about you having some type of authority. Like you're not just, even though you don't really like to work hard, it's like the work that you do is still like highly valuable. And it's like, it's seen as like, again, it's seen as very highly valuable to the point where like people look up to you as like some type of authority figure or like a teacher in some kind of capacity, which is really interesting because we also have the sun with the child on it. So it's like you guys could literally work with children or you could, like I said, you could be a teacher, but you could also work with children specifically or like teach children things. You also could have been the kind of person who's been spoiled all your life because I'm seeing like this little girl on the pony and like, you know, a lot of little girls want ponies, but how many actually get them? I feel like you're the kind of person where if you wanted a pony as a child, you actually got one. And I just feel like you always had like a very fruitful, abundant life. And that's why I feel like the hard work thing is just not your thing. And that's clearly something that makes you stand out. Most people have to work hard for everything they fucking have, you know? Like, so I think it's giving, I grew up with a silver spoon, you know? And I mean, shit. Live your life. Sounds like a good life, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you definitely get that kind of vibe. Even if you're not, you know, a princess of Narnia or some shit, like, you know, you probably still, again, like you're probably able to live your life on an easier mode, especially when it comes to like your career and your finances than other people, for sure. Like you definitely are spoiled in some kind of way. If you don't feel like you are living a spoiled life, this is not your reading. I just want you to know that now. Because whoever I'm talking to is definitely spoiled, okay, period. And that's what makes you stand out. Let's see, like I'm specifically seeing like if you're an influencer, it could be one of those things like literally if you don't have a pay pig, it could be like you have a man or woman, whoever you date, like it could be like the person that you date takes really good care of you. Or that could be a thing too, like I said, like on a family level, like it could be that you have a high class like family, or it could be that you married into that, or like the person that you're dating is like that and they take care of you, and you tend to attract those types of people that take care of you. And like if you're an influencer, for example, you can make those kind of videos like, you know, day in the life as a stay-at-home so-and-so, you know, whatever, like. But you also like do art on the side or, you know, whatever, like things like that. Or maybe if you're a mom, like you could be like a stay-at-home mom and then you like homeschool your kids and you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying, connect the dots how they fit, but it's giving that type of vibe for sure. And let's get one more card. Ooh, we have the 7 of Cups in reverse. I don't know, I don't feel like that's your card. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know, sometimes the cards come out, I'm like, I don't think so. It's not giving. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 9 of Pentacles. That's yeah. Like I said, I'm like, you definitely come across abundant, honey. You come across like you don't have to do too much. Like, you see how she's just in the garden at this point, like just picking her fruits, well, her carrots, not fruits. But yeah, just picking her crops, enjoying her harvest. It doesn't give like I'm stressed, I'm over it. It's giving already been put the work in, or somebody else put the work in for me, and now I'm just here to collect. Okay, it's giving gatherer. Okay, you could really enjoy TJ Maxx, Ross, Home Goods, stores like that. Stores where you like thrifting, where you go around and like gather things. Okay, and that's something that can make you stand out. I feel like you're somebody who has a lot of hobbies as well. Like, I feel like you have a lot of free time. And like, you use your free time well. Like, you're not the kind of person who has a lot of free time and you just be on your phone all day. Like, you're the kind of person who has a lot of free time, and so you read books, you create art, you might literally like to garden and like plants. You could be a plant mom. You could like animals as well. This is specific. In another way of like wealth, like you can have like a farm, like maybe your family has a farm, and so that's a way where you don't really have to work too hard. You don't have to have a job. You more so just like tend to your animals and tend to your plants and things like that. Again, you could also have children and you have free time, and so use your free time to spend with your children, to teach and raise your children. Okay, there's just like a very like soft life energy about you, and that is what makes you stand out, Pound 3. So that's all I have for you. Again, I will never reach out to you for a reading. You can only book with me at my website. You can also check out my writing and my art at my website as well. Other than that, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.